Hey there, Sunshine. It's Michelle here, and I'm inviting you to wake up and live. Hey, so I have been on a journey. I'm always on a journey, in and out of things, and I get a little frustrated with myself. But I want to talk about this thing called actualizing. It's like self-actualizing, and what it really is, and what I'm learning about it, and what it says for me, and how it may affect my YouTube channel. Okay, so it's not a surprise that I'm super interested in this. I am an ENFP is the type that's most likely from the Myers-Briggs type indicator. So Carl Jung, he talked about these different types of people. He talked about different functions, function order, and how it affects people, how people make decisions and perceive the world based on these functions. And so a little overview, a lot of people talk about introverted and extroverted. I dislike the term people getting energized from outside or inside sources. I just don't like the way that's termed, because talking with people can really energize me or really drain me. So it doesn't make sense to say that I'm extroverted in that way. I am an inhibited person, so I tend to be shy, but I do like to explore ideas and talk about ideas outside of me and talk about what I'm learning. And as I'm talking about it, I kind of put pieces together and it makes more sense to me. And so that is an extroverted thing. And so, but it doesn't always energize me, but it is how I figure out what I feel and think about the world, how I perceive the world, is this talking about the ideas and stuff. And that's what an NE does. They explore the world out, like through talking or doing things, or like trying a concept. So that's what the NE does, and that's what I lead with in my life. And that is why sometimes I can seem like I'm constantly changing subjects, which is why it's hard in my YouTube channel. I get this idea in my head that my channel has to be about certain things and be a certain way. And then I start learning about something else and I'm like, oh, different. I don't want to talk about that today. That made it worse. Almost. Okay, we're just going to pretend that we're okay. That's a little better, maybe. I didn't want like so much space over my head, but I also didn't want to chop off the top of my head. Random. That's the thing, is because I'm a P, I can be very like go all over the place and be sidetracked by this and this and this, and I got sidetracked by that. So operate from. There are people that are disinhibited. You can be an introvert and be disinhibited, and so people will look at you and they think, oh, you're an extrovert because you have no problems talking to people, and this, you're out there and you do crazy things. But that's just one trait. How you process, how you perceive the world and make your decisions is actually an introverted way of doing things. You lead from an introverted function, and so they can get kind of confused. And I'm an inhibited person, which means I'm naturally inclined toward having fear and to being reserved and being more of an observer. But like I said earlier, I like to process the world outside of me. I like to make sense of things. I like to kind of play with an idea before I make a decision on it. And that decision function for me is a feeling function. It's an introverted feeling function. So I don't always tell people how I'm feeling. In fact, I only share how I'm feeling. Like people can tell that I'm excited about things. I'm pretty vocal about being excited about things, but some of the other things that I feel and believe about life, I kind of hold them more closer to me. Some of my value-based opinions, I kind of hold them more close to my heart, and I only share them with people that I really trust. And only share my feelings when I know that sharing those feelings will benefit someone. Because I keep my feelings inside. That's just kind of the way I process them inside and everything. That's how I'm designed to work. And so there's some N functions and some S functions. And the S functions, it's about more like kind of the concrete things. It's more about your external, something that has to do with your senses, your five senses. And those, okay, so NE or NE, NI, SE, SI. The E and the I stand for whether or not that's an introverted or extroverted feeling or process function. And the N or S, so the N's, it's about ideas and kind of, it's a very expanded thing. And the S's are more about like the here and now. You'll hear people call it intuition, but Carl Jung actually talked about another kind of intuition that an S-type can have. So to say intuition can be very misleading because I believe every single person on the planet has intuition. We all have an inner knowing somehow. And so it's not really, in my opinion, great to call it intuition, but it's kind of an ideas thing versus a tangible thing. And then you have the way that you make decisions about the world. And if you're a T function, then it's very logic based. And if you're an F function, it can be feelings based, but it's very value based. It's how the concepts or your decisions line up with your values. Okay, so here's all these functions, and Carl Jung talked about actualizing, and he, from what I can tell, and I honestly, truly, I haven't actually delved into and studied Carl Jung's work specifically. I've like gone bits and pieces because as type I that I am, I go into a subject for a little while and then I'm like, okay, new subject. And I go into that subject for a little while and then I'm like, new subject. And I go into that subject for a little while and then I'm like, oh, back to this subject. And I go a little deeper into it. And I keep doing that through multiple subjects through my life. And so every time I read it, I go a little bit deeper. One day I may actually read Carl Jung's actual work. But for now, I kind of dive a little bit deeper into it, get a little bit bored with it, move on to something else. And so right now I'm interested in this again. I'm interested in this, but I also think this is amazing because I'm a soul shine specialist. Like, I think that that's what it is. Any N types like the idea of self-actualizing. There's something, and it's kind of becoming mainstream now, this idea that you have this incredible way of being that you were designed to be. And if you could live from that, you could have the most joyful life. You can just, things work out for you, manifest these amazing things, and things start happening for you in a better way. It's just like the idyllic, joyful way of living. Okay. So this is something that I strive for, and this is why I'm a social and specialist. I love the idea of being authentically who we are designed to be. And this is one way of looking at how you're designed to be. So my understanding is that Carl Jung has suggested that in order to self-actualize, you have to develop your different attributes. And from some people, they say that you have to develop your dominant trait first and then develop your next one and your next one and your next one. And I believed this way for a while, but I realized that I think this is kind of the backwards way to think it. Because I have things about me that prevent me from fully leading with my NE. And I realized that this is where it is. What is keeping you from becoming who you are to be? So for me, self-actualizing means that kind of checking in. What mode am I being in? Am I being in my mode, or am I hanging out in somebody else's way of being? Am I living from a fear-based place or an authentic place? And so I recently finally understood what the SI in my temperament is, because we have these ways of being. So it's like I am strongest in the NE, and then comes an FI, and then comes a TE, and then comes the SI. And TE is not too bad of a place to function for. It actually can be very helpful to help an ENFP be grounded and finish things that they start out with. I spend a lot of time in this one. So for me, coming from my higher place is ideal. But I finally understand what SI is for me. And that's for an ENFP, the SI function can make a person a perfectionist. And as I have done my belief work and my healing work, this is one of the things that I've realized. I had such a strong belief that I had to be exactly perfect. I couldn't make any mistakes. I couldn't breathe wrong, or God would hate me and I would never make it back to be with him. And then I would be like condemned into utter darkness. And so I had this belief, and it created a type of OCD in me that made it so that basically I was afraid to do anything. I was afraid to explore any idea that might be a little off from what it needed to be. And therefore, I'm not allowing myself to fully step into who I need to be in order to be me because of this. So my temperament is naturally intuitive in a big way. Like, we are kind of the magical creatures of the world. We a lot of ENFPs are very into energy working and things like that. It's just naturally what we're drawn to. But that's a world that, if you're raised very religious, can be very wrong. So what does it mean to be a self-actualized person? How do you do that? You can develop these traits the way that Carl Jung, or here's what you do. You look at, why am I hanging out in this mode? Why am I allowing that SI part of me, that perfectionist part of me, to control the way I am and keep me from living my life? And so that's where inner belief work is amazing, because you can go back and find how to word this. The belief that's keeping you from being who you are. So the belief that holds me back from exploring ideas. The belief that has me hiding the magical side of me. Say anything that could be perceived as wrong, or get me in trouble in certain places or whatever. So there's this SI part of me, and that's where I'm at in my journey, is looking at totally releasing all the energy that allows that inferior part of me to be so strong. That part of me to hold me back. And I think this is my understanding of what self-actualization looks like. You go in and you heal the part of you that is running. So if you are running from a shadow side, you need to heal what puts you in that shadow. And you need to heal that until you can come out of that shadow and you come to a place where you become the traditional ENFP or whatever your type is. And you become really, really into that. And so that I become like, oh my gosh, go crazy. Who is this person? She's so ENFP. And then if you haven't already developed some of those other traits in a healthy way, because there's a healthy way to use the SI, but there's also a negative way to use the SI. And that's where I'm at right now, is realizing that this unhealthy SI is holding me back. So how does that affect my channel? Today, I'm not talking about manifesting directly. I am a kind of person who I like to talk about what I'm learning. I love Anne's channel because it's Come Learn and Grow with Me. She hasn't posted a video for a long time, which it makes me kind of sad. I miss her videos. But I like that she's like, oh, I'm learning about this. I'm going to share with you what I'm learning about. And then it's like, oh, and here's this. And I'm going to share. Because that's kind of how I am. It's like, okay, I am learning right now. I'm learning about self-actualization. And I'm also in the process of putting on an event for people to manifest style. So So some people will manifest better by listening to things. Some will be by vocalizing it every day. Some will be by seeing it every day. Some will be by bringing in the actions and things like that every day. So you're bringing in these kind of things, and you're going to have ones that match for you further. So there's a part of me that's still learning about that and creating it. So I'm going to talk about that. And I'm going to talk about the self-actualization stuff. And maybe in a few weeks, I'll go back to like, oh, let's talk about organization. Let's talk about only keeping the stuff that brings us joy. Let's talk about how this works, and let's talk about how that works. And oh my gosh, I learned this new healing technique. Let me share it with you. I want to be true to myself and continue to do that instead of trying to put myself in some little box. Here's the box. Circle. It's a circle. My box is shaped like a circle. It's a hat box. Here's the hat box. And the hat box says you can only talk about this subject. It's a niche kind of a thing. But the truth is that for me, I like talking about everything I'm learning about, because everything I'm learning about is some way to be more me, some way to shine a little bit brighter. And I know that by talking about it, not only am I learning deeper and getting clarity about it, but I'm letting you guys learn from me, and I'm teaching you guys what I'm learning it so that you guys can apply those things in your life. And I know that you'll be drawn to the video that's right for you. And so how does it work with manifesting? Because I like to tie it into manifesting, because really, truly, the more you are being yourself, the more you are self-actualized, I think the more you are enlightened, the higher vibration you have. The more self-actualized you are, the more higher vibration is. What your design looks like may be completely different than my design, and that's okay. And as we step into that, we get into a whole world. Well, that was crazy. I had something just come up in my screen. Whoa. Okay. The more we step into who we are, the more we step into what we're being and who we're designed to be, the better the world's going to be. We're going to be manifesting the ideal life for us, whatever that ideal life for us is. Some people are designed to like the luxurious life. They want the cars and the big house and stuff because that's who they are designed to be. And as long as they're not doing it in a unhealthy way or a way that is going to put down other people, that's fantastic. Some of us are not really all that interested. It's like, I want a big house only because I have 6 children. It's like, I want to have an office and a craft space, and like, I only want the space that I feel like I need in order to live it. I know other people that their ideal life is creating these, like living in a tiny house and as minimalistic as possible. And that's fantastic. We all have the things that are ideal life. And that's what it's about for me. Helping you to find your ideal life by giving you, say, hey, I'm learning about this. And you can take what works for you and apply it in your life. I'm super excited about that. I'm really excited to give myself permission to talk about whatever I'm learning about here. Right now, I am reading a book. Did I bring it in here with me? I don't think so. I think I left it upstairs. It's a book about gathering, and it's somebody who, she does all these events and stuff and talks about the purpose of a gathering and bringing more depth into our gatherings. So when we meet together with people, we're going to learn more from each other. And I'm so excited to read this book and learn more and make my events and my gatherings and my birthday parties and my family meetings. And, like we have a family night every week, and how awesome to bring in an extra level and really bring in purpose to those meetings. And I want to be able to share that with you guys on here. And so I'll probably talk about my book. And so giving myself permission to just talk about whatever I feel like talking about, whatever I'm learning about. That's so exciting. And it allows me to step more into who I am. I'm also catching myself really judging myself. And like, somebody was watching for a while and they've stopped and, oh my gosh, what if what I'm saying is so, okay, all the things going on inside, right? It happens. It's real. we do that. Everybody does that to a degree, some more than others. Some people, it's caring what they think about each other. What other people think about them. Some are thinking more about, am I going to say things that people don't want to hear? It's kind of crazy how we all have our different ways of viewing the world. And so I'm just excited about it. And I'm excited about the day when everybody fully lives true to who they were designed to be. So that the really logical people are doing the logical things that our world needs. And the people who are like really hands-on and they like love building, love being outdoors, they're doing those kind of things. And there's like the people that love being outdoors because of the hands-on things, and there are people that love being outdoors because of the nature, and everybody gets to do their things. And you've got the people, like when we live aligned with who we are, everybody's gifts come in and create an amazing world. And yes, the ENFP is an idealist. That is like the nickname for the ENFP, and it's so true. I do have this dream of like an ideal world, and what can I do to help make that? What would it take to contribute to the bringing about this ideal world? And that's what I want to share with you. So remember, everybody, to let your soul shine big, bright, live, and beautiful. Be the incredible, wonderful, fabulous you that you were designed to be. And I will see you guys next time. Yes, I want to be done. Thank you.